First contact and invasion. The quantum detection array at SETI's Mauna Kea facility had been silent for decades. Dr. Maya Patel had grown accustomed to the quiet rhythm of analyzing data streams that yielded nothing but cosmic background noise. That changed on a humid Hawaiian morning when her holographic display erupted with patterns she'd never seen before. "This can't be right," she whispered, adjusting her neural interface to filter out any possible interference. The signals persisted, clear, structured, and unmistakably artificial. Her hands trembled as she initiated the verification protocols. Within hours, observatories worldwide confirmed her findings. A massive fleet of objects was decelerating from near-light speed at the edge of our solar system. Humanity's first contact was approaching, and it wasn't making any attempt to hide its presence. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the window of the United Earth Defense Command Center in Geneva, watching storm clouds gather over Lake Geneva. The holographic projections behind her showed the alien fleet's trajectory, a direct course to Earth. "How many?" she asked, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. Colonel James Rodriguez, her tactical officer, cleared his throat. "Over 3,000 vessels, Admiral. The smallest ones are roughly the size of an aircraft carrier. The largest," he paused, double-checking his data, "is approximately the size of Manhattan." The room fell silent. Earth's combined space fleet consisted of barely 50 ships, mostly designed for near-Earth operations and asteroid mining. They were facing an armada that could blot out the stars. The first transmission from the alien fleet came 3 days later. The message was simple, broadcast in perfectly synthesized English and every other major human language. "Your species has been deemed unworthy of continued autonomous existence. Submit to integration into the hegemony or face extinction. You have 24 hours to surrender your governing authorities." President Carmen Torres of the United Earth Government sat in an emergency session of the Global Security Council. The holographic faces of world leaders flickered around her, their expressions grim. "They're not here to negotiate," she stated flatly. "This choice they're offering is no choice at all. Integration would mean the end of human self-determination." Premier Lai of the Asian Confederation leaned forward. "But what choice do we have? Their technological superiority is obvious. Fighting would mean extinction." "Maybe," Torres countered, "or maybe that's what they want us to think. Humanity didn't come this far by surrendering at the first sign of superior force." The council debated through the night, but in the end, the decision was unanimous. Earth would not bow. As the 24-hour deadline approached, President Torres addressed the world. "My fellow humans, today we face the greatest challenge in our species' history. An alien force has demanded our surrender, believing us weak, believing us unworthy of our freedom. They are about to learn how wrong they are. Humanity has faced extinction-level threats before, from nature, from our own actions, from the harsh realities of space. Each time, we have adapted, survived, and emerged stronger. Today will be no different." The response came exactly 24 hours after the initial ultimatum. A single sentence: "Your species has chosen extinction." The attack began with surgical precision. The alien fleet, which called themselves the hegemony, targeted major military installations first. Plasma beams lanced down from orbit, vaporizing bases, shipyards, and defense installations worldwide. But humanity had not been idle during the deadline. Admiral Chen's strategy of dispersed resistance went into effect immediately. Hidden bunkers activated. Stealth satellites revealed themselves, launching swarms of kinetic interceptors. The first wave of alien landing craft met unexpected resistance. A web of ground-based energy weapons reverse-engineered from a crashed scout ship decades ago and kept secret for exactly this scenario. They expected us to be helpless. Admiral Chen told her command staff as reports of the first successes came in. They expected us to be primitive. That's their first mistake. Humanity has been preparing for this possibility for over a century. We're not about to make this easy for them. But even with their preparations, the cost was staggering. Major cities came under direct attack as the hegemony shifted tactics. New York, Shanghai, Lagos, one by one, Earth's great metropolitan centers faced orbital bombardment. Millions died in the first day alone. Yet from the ashes of these attacks, the true spirit of humanity began to emerge. In the ruins of cities, survivors organized resistance cells. Scientists working in hidden bunkers analyzed every scrap of data from the attacks, searching for weaknesses. The hegemony's overwhelming force had not won them a quick victory, and now they faced something they had not expected. A species that refused to accept defeat, that grew stronger with every setback, and that was learning their weaknesses with frightening speed. As the first day of the war drew to a close, Dr. Patel made a discovery in her underground lab that would change everything. Hidden in the quantum noise of the hegemony's communications was a pattern, a vulnerability that could turn the tide of the war. But first, humanity would have to survive long enough to exploit it. The battle for Earth had only begun, and humanity was about to show the galaxy why you should never underestimate a species that had evolved on one of the harshest worlds in the galaxy. A species that had clawed its way from caves to the stars through sheer determination and ingenuity. The hegemony was about to learn that their greatest mistake wasn't attacking Earth. Their greatest mistake was giving humanity a reason to unite against them. The fall of cities. The skies over London burned crimson as another hegemony warship descended through the atmosphere. From her makeshift command center in the underground, Captain Emma Walsh watched the thermal imaging with clenched fists. 3 weeks had passed since first contact, and humanity was learning the true meaning of war. "Status report on the SHIELD network," she demanded, her voice hoarse from shouting orders through the smoke-filled tunnels. Lieutenant Rivera, his face illuminated by the glow of holographic displays, responded quickly. "SHIELD generators 3 and 7 are critical, but holding. The aliens' plasma weapons are draining power faster than we can reroute it." Above them, the ancient tunnels shook as another bombardment struck the city. The SHIELD technology, hastily adapted from captured hegemony wreckage, was humanity's only defense against total annihilation. But it was failing city by city. In the ruins of Tokyo, Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka worked frantically in his underground laboratory. The remains of a hegemony drone lay scattered across his workbench, its otherworldly technology slowly yielding its secrets. "They're quantum field generators," he muttered into his recorder. "They're not just for propulsion. They're creating localized space-time distortions. If we could reverse the polarity." His voice trailed off as another explosion rocked the facility. A young resistance fighter burst into the lab. "Doctor, they're breaking through the outer perimeter. We need to evacuate now." Tanaka quickly gathered his crucial data cores, but his mind was racing ahead. The hegemony's apparent invulnerability might be their greatest weakness, if only he could prove his theory. In orbit, Admiral Chen's remaining fleet engaged in a desperate guerrilla war. The hegemony's superior technology had destroyed most of Earth's conventional forces, but human ingenuity was turning the tide of individual battles. "Quantum signature detected," called out her sensor officer. "Hegemony dreadnought emerging from FTL." Chen smiled grimly. "Execute Operation Honeypot." The trap was elegant in its simplicity. Human ships played wounded, retreating into a debris field that masked hundreds of stealth mines. When the massive hegemony vessel pursued, thinking to finish off easy prey, the mines activated. They didn't destroy the alien ship, but the damage was significant. "That's the third one this week," Chen noted with satisfaction. "They're learning to fear us." But victories in space couldn't mask the devastation below. Major cities worldwide lay in ruins. The hegemony's ground forces, towering mechanized units that resembled abstract sculptures more than traditional war machines, methodically advanced through urban areas. In the ruins of Cairo, resistance fighter Amir Hassan led his team through collapsed buildings. They had learned that the alien machines, for all their advanced technology, could be confused by the maze-like qualities of ancient architecture. They rely too much on their quantum sensors, he explained to a group of survivors. In these old streets, with their natural stone and irregular patterns, their targeting systems get disrupted. We can use that. Similar discoveries were being made worldwide. The hegemony's technological superiority had unexpected limitations. Their machines, designed for efficiency and overwhelming force, struggled with human unpredictability and the chaotic nature of Earth's cities. President Torres, operating from a mobile command center deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, received the daily casualty reports with a heavy heart. Billions were dead or missing. Yet hope remained. Every engagement with the enemy provided new data, new understanding. They expected this to be easy, she told her advisors. They expected us to break. Instead, we're adapting. Every day we survive is another day we learn how to fight them better. Dr. Patel's discovery was beginning to bear fruit. Working with a global network of scientists, she had identified patterns in the hegemony's quantum communications that suggested their entire fleet operated on a unified field theory. It's both their greatest strength and potentially their greatest vulnerability, she explained to Admiral Chen via secure quantum link. Their ships, their weapons, even their ground forces, they're all connected through quantum entanglement. If we can disrupt that connection, we could take down their entire military infrastructure, Chen finished. But the energy requirements would be enormous. That's why we need more time, Patel insisted. We need to gather more data, understand their systems better. Every battle, every encounter gives us more information. But time was running out. The hegemony was adapting too, learning from their setbacks. Their attacks became more precise, their strategies more nuanced. They began targeting Earth's power infrastructure, making it harder to maintain the shield networks protecting the remaining cities. In Geneva, the last functional quantum computer hub in Europe processed battlefield data around the clock, searching for patterns that could help turn the tide. The ancient city had become a fortress, its lake drained to make room for underground bunkers and research facilities. Captain Walsh, her London command center finally overrun, arrived to take charge of the city's defense. As she looked out over the transformed landscape, she reflected on how the war had changed not just the planet, but humanity itself. We're not just fighting for survival anymore, she told her new command staff. We're fighting to prove something. That humanity deserves its place among the stars. That we won't be cataloged and dismissed as some primitive species. The hegemony had made a critical error in their initial assessment of Earth. They had seen our technological inferiority and assumed it meant we were weak. They hadn't understood that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in our technology, but in our ability to adapt, to think creatively, to find ways to survive against impossible odds. As the second month of war drew to a close, that lesson was becoming expensive for them to learn. Their casualties were mounting, their resources being drained in a war of attrition they hadn't planned for. But the question remained, could humanity find a way to turn the tide before the last cities fell? In his Tokyo lab, Dr. Tanaka worked through another sleepless night, pursuing his theory about the quantum field generators. In orbit, Admiral Chen planned another guerrilla strike, and in hidden facilities worldwide, Dr. Patel's team raced to unlock the secrets of the hegemony's quantum network. The fall of Earth's cities had not broken humanity's spirit. Instead, it had forged it into something stronger, something the hegemony had never encountered before. The real question was whether that would be enough to save their world. The hidden strength. Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka's hands trembled as he reviewed the data for the 100th time. Around him, his underground laboratory in Tokyo hummed with the sound of jury-rigged equipment, salvaged from both Earth and hegemony technology. 3 months of war had taught humanity to be creative with resources. It's not just possible, he whispered to himself. It's inevitable. Their own technology will be their undoing. His breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A damaged hegemony walker, one of their towering war machines, had fallen near the ruins of Shibuya. In studying its quantum field generator, Tanaka had discovered something revolutionary about how the aliens manipulated spacetime. On the other side of the world, Dr. Maya Patel received Tanaka's encrypted transmission with growing excitement. She immediately connected with Admiral Chen through their secure quantum link. Admiral, Dr. Tanaka's findings confirm our theory. The hegemony's entire military infrastructure operates on a quantum entanglement network. But it's not just for communication. It's how they maintain their technological superiority. Chen's holographic image flickered. Explain it to me in tactical terms, Doctor. Their ships, their weapons, their shields, everything depends on maintaining quantum coherence across their entire fleet. It's what allows them to coordinate so perfectly, to move faster than light, to generate their energy fields. But it's also their greatest vulnerability. In orbit, Chen watched through her command ship's viewport as another skirmish unfolded. Human vessels, now equipped with crude versions of hegemony shield technology, engaged in hit-and-run attacks against the alien fleet. They couldn't win these battles, but they were learning, adapting, gathering data with every engagement. If we disrupt their quantum network, Patel continued, we don't just shut down their communications, we shut down everything. Their ships, their weapons, their entire technological advantage disappears. What would we need? A massive energy pulse, precisely tuned to the frequency of their quantum field. Dr. Tanaka has the specifications, but we'd need more power than Earth's entire remaining infrastructure could generate. Chen was silent for a moment. Maybe not. Remember the hegemony's primary power station they built over the Atlantic, the one they used to maintain their fleet's quantum coherence. Patel's eyes widened. You want to turn their own power source against them. Can it be done? Theoretically, yes, but we'd need a team inside the station to reconfigure their quantum matrices. It would be a suicide mission. Chen's hologram smiled grimly. Let me worry about that part. Get me those specifications. In Geneva, Captain Emma Walsh received new orders. Her team of specialists would be part of the mission to infiltrate the hegemony power station. The plan was audacious. Some would say impossible, but impossible had become humanity's specialty. They still think we're primitive, she told her team during the briefing. They don't believe we can understand their technology, let alone use it against them. That's an advantage we're going to exploit. The power station hung in the sky like an artificial sun, a massive structure that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. Getting inside would require everything humans had learned about hegemony technology, and more than a little luck. President Torres, monitoring the operation from her mobile command center, knew this might be humanity's last chance. Their cities were falling one by one. Their population was decimated, but humans had proven remarkably resilient, and more importantly, adaptable. The hegemony had made a crucial mistake in their invasion. They had assumed that humanity's technological inferiority meant we were incapable of understanding their advanced systems. They hadn't counted on human ingenuity, on our ability to take apart their technology and repurpose it in ways they never imagined. In what remained of Tokyo, Dr. Tanaka finished calibrating the quantum pulse specifications. The mathematics behind it were elegant, almost beautiful. The hegemony's quantum network was a masterpiece of engineering, but like all complex systems, it had points of resonance that could be exploited. Their perfection is their weakness, he explained to his team. They built their entire civilization on the principle of quantum coherence. Break that coherence, and their whole house of cards comes tumbling down, finished his assistant. Across the globe, resistance cells received their orders. When the signal came, they would launch coordinated attacks on hegemony ground forces, not to defeat them. That would be impossible, but to distract them from the real operation. In orbit, Admiral Chen prepared her remaining ships for what might be their final battle. The plan would require perfect timing and more than a little desperation. But desperate times called for desperate measures. 3 months ago, they thought they could simply demand our surrender, she told her fleet commanders. They thought we were beneath their notice, unworthy of even being considered a real threat. Today, we show them exactly how wrong they were. The mission to infiltrate the power station would be the most daring operation in human military history. Captain Walsh's team, equipped with reverse-engineered hegemony stealth technology, would need to penetrate the most heavily defended structure on Earth. But they had something the hegemony didn't expect: understanding. 3 months of brutal warfare had taught humanity more about quantum mechanics and advanced physics than decades of peaceful research could have. The hegemony's own arrogance in displaying their technology so openly had given humans the opportunity to learn, to adapt, to find weaknesses. Dr. Patel, coordinating with teams worldwide, put the finishing touches on the quantum pulse calculations. The numbers were clear. If they could reconfigure the power station's quantum matrices, the resulting cascade would disrupt the hegemony's entire network. Their strength is about to become their greatest weakness, she told President Torres. Every ship, every weapon, every piece of technology they have that relies on quantum coherence will fail simultaneously. Torres nodded grimly. And then it becomes a fair fight. Technology against technology, strength against strength. No more overwhelming advantage. The stage was set. Humanity had discovered the hidden weakness in the hegemony's seemingly perfect system. Now they just had to exploit it, if they could survive long enough to spring their trap. The next 24 hours would determine the fate of the human race. But for the first time since the invasion began, the odds weren't completely hopeless. Humanity had found its path to victory, hidden in the very technology that had nearly destroyed them. The hegemony was about to learn that sometimes the greatest strength lies in being underestimated. United we stand. The hegemony's power station loomed above the Atlantic like a metallic sun, its quantum core pulsing with enough energy to power their entire invasion fleet. Captain Emma Walsh, sealed in her reverse-engineered hegemony stealth suit, led her team through the station's outer defense perimeter. Remember, she whispered through their secure quantum comlink, we only get one shot at this. Every resistance cell on Earth is counting on us. The infiltration team moved like ghosts through the alien structure. Their suits, cobbled together from salvaged hegemony technology and human ingenuity, masked their quantum signatures. To the station's sensors, they were invisible, merely background radiation in the vast edifice. In orbit, Admiral Chen positioned her remaining fleet for the most daring operation in human military history. Her ships, now equipped with hybrid human hegemony technology, waited in the shadow of Earth's moon. All vessels, maintain quantum silence, she ordered. We strike only when Walsh's team confirms they've reached the core. On the ground, humanity prepared for its final coordinated assault. Every surviving military unit, every resistance cell, every piece of salvaged alien technology had been coordinated for this moment. President Torres, from her mobile command center, sent the final authorization. For 3 months, we fought separately, surviving however we could. Her message reached every defender. Today, we fight as one. Every distraction we create gives our infiltration team a better chance. Make them count. Dr. Tanaka, monitoring the quantum frequencies from his Tokyo bunker, watched as the human resistance sprang into action. Across the globe, carefully hoarded caches of weapons were unleashed. Reverse-engineered hegemony walkers, piloted by humans, emerged from hidden bunkers. Electromagnetic pulse weapons, designed to temporarily disrupt alien quantum fields, detonated in coordinated strikes. The hegemony response was immediate and overwhelming. Their warships descended from orbit, their ground forces mobilized. Just as planned. They're taking the bait, Dr. Patel confirmed, watching the quantum signature readings. Their forces are spreading thin, responding to multiple threats. Inside the power station, Walsh's team reached the central control chamber. The vast room pulsed with quantum energy, holographic displays showing the flow of power to the hegemony fleet. Dr. Tanaka, we're in position, Walsh reported, beginning Phase 2. The next part of the plan required precision timing. While Walsh's engineers began the delicate process of reconfiguring the quantum matrices, other team members planted quantum resonance charges at key points throughout the station. "Remember," Dr. Patel's voice came through their comms, "the reconfiguration has to be exact. 1 decimal point off, and we'll alert their security systems before the cascade can begin." Outside, the battle reached a fever pitch. Human forces, fighting with desperate courage, drew hegemony attention away from their power station. In New Delhi, resistance fighters led hegemony walkers into carefully prepared kill zones. In the ruins of Rio de Janeiro, salvaged alien cannons opened fire on enemy positions. Admiral Chen watched the tactical displays, waiting for her moment. "All ships, prepare for quantum jump on my mark. Weapons hot, shields at maximum." In Geneva, the last quantum computer hub processed battlefield data in real time, coordinating the global assault. The hegemony's responses were becoming more frantic, less coordinated. They couldn't be everywhere at once, even with their superior technology. Inside the power station, Walsh's team worked with mechanical precision. Each step had been rehearsed countless times in virtual simulations. They had one chance to get it right. "Quantum matrices at 60% reconfiguration," her engineer reported. "No signs of detection yet." Dr. Tanaka monitored the power fluctuations from his bunker. "The energy readings are holding steady. They still think it's normal operational variance." Then everything nearly went wrong. A hegemony maintenance drone, performing routine checks, entered the control chamber. Walsh's team froze, their stealth suits their only protection. The drone paused, its sensors sweeping the room. For a heart-stopping moment, it seemed to focus directly on Walsh. Then, with mechanical indifference, it continued its programmed route and left the chamber. "Resume operations," Walsh ordered, her voice steady despite the close call. "We're almost there." Across Earth, the fighting intensified. Human forces, knowing they were buying time with their lives, fought with unprecedented coordination and courage. The hegemony, for the first time since the invasion began, found themselves responding to human tactics rather than dictating the pace of battle. President Torres received constant updates from the field. Every report of casualties weighed heavily, but every minute of resistance brought them closer to their goal. In orbit, Admiral Chen's fleet prepared for their part in the operation. Their ships, already running on minimal power to avoid detection, would have one chance to strike when the quantum cascade began. "Quantum matrices at 90% reconfiguration," Walsh reported. "Beginning final sequence." Dr. Patel and Dr. Tanaka, working together across continents, monitored the power station's energy signatures. Everything hinged on the next few moments. "Admiral Chen, begin your approach," Torres ordered. "All ground forces, prepare for Phase 3. The tension was palpable as Walsh's team entered the final commands. Years of scientific research, months of desperate resistance, and the combined efforts of every surviving human on Earth had led to this moment. "Quantum matrices reconfigured," Walsh announced, initiating cascade sequence. As the power station's core began to pulse with a new rhythm, humanity held its breath. The next few minutes would determine whether their daring plan would save their species or become a footnote in the story of their extinction. The quantum cascade was about to begin, and with it, the true test of humanity's united stand against extinction. Victory's price. The quantum cascade began with a whisper. Inside the hegemony power station, energy patterns shifted imperceptibly as Captain Walsh's team's reprogramming took effect. For a brief moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then everything changed at once. The station's core flared with blinding intensity as the quantum matrices realigned. Through their specialized visors, Walsh's team watched as waves of energy began pulsing outward in precisely calculated patterns. "Cascade initiated," Walsh reported, her voice tense. Dr. Tanaka, reading confirmation. In his Tokyo bunker, Tanaka watched in awe as his instruments registered the power surge. Confirmed. Quantum resonance spreading through their network. Stand by for primary effect. In orbit, Admiral Chen's fleet emerged from hiding, their hybrid drives pushing them toward the hegemony armada. The alien ships, suddenly receiving conflicting quantum signals from their power source, began to show signs of distress. Energy disruption detected across all hegemony vessels, her tactical officer reported. Their quantum fields are destabilizing. The effect spread like a wave through the alien fleet. Ship after ship lost coherence in their quantum fields. Shields flickered and failed. Weapons systems went dark. The mighty armada that had nearly conquered Earth began to drift, their advanced technology rendered useless by their own power source. All ships, engage. Chen ordered. Target their command and control nodes while they're vulnerable. On the ground, the effect was equally dramatic. Hegemony walkers stumbled and fell as their quantum-based systems failed. Their ground forces, suddenly cut off from their network, found themselves isolated and confused. Dr. Patel, monitoring the cascade from her facility, allowed herself a brief smile. The quantum disruption is exceeding our projections. Their entire command structure is collapsing. But victory wouldn't come without cost. Inside the power station, Walsh's team realized the cascade was building faster than anticipated. The station's core was becoming unstable. "We need to evacuate now," Walsh ordered, watching power levels climb into critical ranges. "This whole station is going to blow." As her team rushed for their escape pods, the hegemony finally understood what was happening. Their response was immediate and desperate. Though their advanced weapons were useless, they still had conventional arms. In orbit, the space battle had become a chaotic melee. Human ships, though fewer in number, pressed their advantage against the compromised alien fleet. But the hegemony fought back with savage determination. "They're using ballistic weapons," Chen reported as explosions blossomed across the battlefield. "They're reverting to basic physics. Maintain formation and press the attack." President Torres watched from her command center as the tide of battle shifted. Reports flooded in from around the globe. Hegemony forces in disarray, human resistance fighters overwhelming alien positions, victory within grasp. Then came Walsh's warning about the power station. "The quantum cascade is creating a feedback loop," Dr. Tanaka explained, his voice urgent. "When that station goes, it's going to release enough energy to tear a hole in space-time." The implications were clear. Victory was assured, but Earth's atmosphere might be permanently damaged. Millions more could die. "Can we stop it?" Torres asked. "No," Paddle replied, "but we might be able to direct it." Admiral Chen immediately understood. "We'll use our ships to create a quantum wake, guide the explosion upward, into space." The entire fleet would have to maintain perfect formation, Tanaka warned. "One mistake." "Then we don't make mistakes," Chen interrupted. "All ships, form up. We're going to save our planet one last time." What followed was perhaps the most precise flying in human history. Earth's remaining ships, coordinating with ground-based quantum transmitters, created a funnel of directed energy. When the power station finally exploded, its devastating force was channeled up, away from Earth's atmosphere. The explosion lit up the sky like a second sun. The hegemony fleet, caught in the quantum backwash, was annihilated. But humanity's sacrifice was profound. Half of Chen's fleet was lost, their crews giving their lives to protect their homeworld. In the aftermath, as the light faded and the dust settled, Earth counted both its losses and its victories. The hegemony invasion had been defeated, their mighty armada destroyed or driven off. Dr. Patel, sifting through the wreckage of alien technology, made another discovery. Their quantum network connected to their entire civilization. The cascade didn't just defeat their fleet, it crippled their entire empire. They won't be coming back. President Torres stood in the ruins of Geneva, watching as humans and reformed hegemony machines worked together to rebuild. "We lost so much," she reflected. "Our cities, our infrastructure, billions of lives. But we gained something too," Chen added, joining her. "We proved that humanity isn't just another primitive species to be conquered. We showed the galaxy that we belong among the stars. In Tokyo, Dr. Tanaka began documenting the quantum principles they'd discovered. The technology that had nearly destroyed humanity would now help rebuild it. They would be stronger, more united, ready for whatever challenges the galaxy might present. Captain Walsh, recovering from her injuries, watched Earth's first post-war sunset. The sky was different now, marked by the quantum distortions from the final battle. But it was still their sky, on their world, which they had fought so hard to defend. The war had changed humanity forever. They had faced extinction and emerged stronger. They had taken alien technology and made it their own. Most importantly, they had shown that when united, humanity could overcome any obstacle. As rebuilding began, ships were already being designed to explore the stars. Earth would not wait for the next threat to find them. They would meet the galaxy on their own terms, carrying with them the lessons learned in their trial by fire. The hegemony had sought to subjugate what they saw as a primitive species. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity was now a force to be reckoned with among the stars. And somewhere out there, other alien civilizations took note. Earth was not to be underestimated.